getting it. And we are back from the Multnomah Athletic Club in Portland, Oregon for the bottom side of the men's quarterfinal bracket. The World Handball Championships alongside Dave Fink. My name is Dave Vincent. Desi Keegan calling this. Let's listen to this opening here. It's Luis Moreno from Tucson, Arizona, and Tony Healy retrieving from Lombardstown, County Cork in Ireland. The number 2 seed Tony is, wearing the red shirt.
Tony Healy actually on a 513-day winning streak in the United States. Gene Casamoto passing that along to me. His last loss was at the 2008 U.S. Nationals in Kansas City to Paul Brady. That was an 11-9 defeat in the finals.
What month is that New York Athletic Club Invitational Tournament?
That's actually in April. First weekend in April.
All right. Jean is correct. I was going to challenge her. 0-0.
See Luis give Tony a little slap on the back there. Very lucky shot.
0-0.
Luis not wearing his commando headband today.
Second serve.
Luis sponsored by Owen Gloves and the New York Athletic Club. Tony Healy formerly sponsored by the NYAC. Little contact with the feet there.
0-0.
0, serve 0.
Looks like Luis is pressing just a little bit here, Dave. Normally we're used to seeing Luis so relaxed. I think Luis feels a little bit of pressure here in this match. He's seeded 7th, Tony Healy seeded 2nd. A lot of people out there in this gallery, Dave, predicting a win for Luis Moreno. I think Luis Moreno is actually the favorite here, despite being seeded 7th up against the number 2 seed. Tony looks a lot sharper early in this match, Dave, than he did last night. We saw him struggling with his game, struggling to find his range there in his round of 16 match against New York's Billy O, the bus.
0, serve 0.
That just skips in. Great idea there from Tony. Recognizing that miss hit from Luis.
0-0.
Tries to take advantage.
Tony, one of the game's best dive re-kill artists.
Look at that bullet down that right side wall. That ball hit about 6 inches from the right side wall and changed direction.
1, serve 0.
Went for the same share. That ball was 2 or 3 feet from the side wall. Tony just skips that ball. That's 2 skips in the last 3 rallies, both by a combined 1 inch. Very close.
Give me a second.
Desi hearing a little bit here from this crowd. He's working this electronic scoreboard. The big man gets a nice round of applause.
That's the first thing electronic that Desi's ever had to operate in his life. He said that he doesn't even like getting on the internet. Doesn't understand how to turn his cell phone on.
Right out.
0 serves 2.
This is the serve we saw Tony trying to execute last night. Had trouble locating it. Looked like it could have been short. Tony looks a little uncomfortable off the back wall with his left hand. Looks like he's scooping that ball just a little bit. That's a sign of tell you folks, I've been up in that referee's chair. It's not difficult to operate that scoreboard. I'd like to say that it is, but it's not. It's very simple. It's clearly marked.
Desi Keegan making a big deal about this scoreboard here.
Desi back on track now.
2 serves 1.
Desi tied with our players here, each with 2 unforced errors.
That ball would not have made it to the front wall, but
I agree.
I think
Wasn't hit hard enough, and that's the wrong spin with an open-handed right into the left side wall. That ball would have hit and come straight down.
Desi called hinder, not
Oh, okay.
which I did see that. Look at those gets from Luis.
Thank you for that correction.
Welcome. That's why we have 2 of us here. Nice
Great
get from
there
Tony.
from Tony.
See a round of applause here in a second, Dave.
Luis slowing things down there. That's Tony's bread and butter right there, that back wall kill with his right hand. We saw him execute that flawlessly in his last win on American soil. That, of course, being at the Simple Green U.S. Open. The $25,000 victory for Tony Healy, defeating Emmett Pashot in the semifinals and then Sean Lenning in the finals.
Does this ball look a little wobbly to you, Dave? Like not as fast as the ball from the last game?
Like Jim London's car, sometimes these balls come out of the factory bad.
Scores 4-1.
That looked like a bad bounce off a light.
I agree with Desi's call here.
How can you argue with Luis when he talks in that soft, polite voice?
4 serves 1.
Makes that shot, it seems so routine. When he misses it, you wonder why he goes for it. But that's part of his repertoire.
1 plays 4.
That was for our French-speaking audience. That's a great serve there from Tony. That's where Tony's so dangerous. Right around that short line with those punch re-kills. You see the bombshell out there doing some scouting. A lot of players opt to go through the cool down. The bombshell takes his seat there right in the front row. He wants to gain any kind of knowledge he can.
Nice shot from Tony Healy. Yeah, the game's 2 best get artists right here.
How many people can be the game's best get artist? I've heard you mention 8 so far, just in the last 2 days. All being the game's best get artist.
Serves 3.
We've seen Luis get off to such quick starts in his last 2 tournaments in the first game. Luis is a tremendous front runner. That's a compliment. He can really extend a lead.
Three serves 4.
Short.
It's a bad hander there. Usually you'll see Tony hit that paddle dump kill from that position. Hard to hit a sidearm kill from there with that ball coming down at that angle with that spin on it.
Tony Healy's wife Hillary and baby Kate back home watching in Lombardstown, County Cork. It's last time Tony played, it was 5 o'clock in the morning there. And now it's midnight. So Tony's keeping his wife and new baby awake. Actually, the baby's been doing that on her own.
Great shot there from Tony. Tony's so engaged here in this match, you can tell. Fist pumping there after a nice fly kill.
4 serves 4.
This is not the Luis Moreno we expected to see. Tony Healy has everything to do with that. Tony Healy just playing great ball here today, Dave. Early in this first game.
5 plays 4.
5 serves 4.
Didn't back up that extra step he needed to let that ball come out in front of him on that back wall kill attempt. That could be an avoidable right there. Yeah, that's a good call there from Desi. He did get up.
Desi called a point, and Desi called an avoidable.
Excellent call. Now,
What if I stay down for the hit me in the head? No, you got open. You got into it.
Tony's actually wrong here, Dave.
The way I understand the rule is once you go down on the floor, you always go on your head.
When Tony studies the re-air of this match, which will be later on tonight, Dave, on the same website, I think he'll see that Desi made the right call.
Well, that's the first avoidable we've seen called.
Tony just trying to get up just a split second too soon to cover that pass from Luis.
Tony's so smart there. Luis thought he was going to go down the right wall, and Tony punched it back down the left, then stepped in and took care of business on the next one.
Tony normally would go down the right, but he saw Luis charging in to cover that shot.
Tony does not look injured at all today, not compared to yesterday.
I agree.
This looks like the old Tony Healy. You know, the one from 12 months ago.
That's Luis's third fluky, lucky type of shot here early in this first game.
A lot of that right there, though, has to do with that back wall, back side wall, and
That
glass.
That was a tough serve that I think Luis misplayed just a little bit.
Again, another one.
You see these guys like acrobats in there. Incredible. There's an uncharacteristic error there from Tony Healy. Nice shot.
Look at Luis, he gets to that ball, almost makes it to the front wall.
Luis missing a pretty easy opportunity there to stretch that lead to 8-5. This is where you got to be really careful if you're Tony Healy. You don't want to fall behind by 5 or 6 points. Luis Moreno, his confidence skyrockets at that point.
Luis taking some really deep breaths back there. This is where you have to be in top condition, top form. Oh.
Desi now calling a point. I'm assuming that's an avoidable call there. Luis not arguing.
I guess Desi's just going to call avoidables.
Well, he's going to call the appropriate call. That's what he's there to do.
Well, yesterday, you recalled Desi made the comment, I'm not used to calling avoidables, remember? He said that out loud. And then, he's called 2 here. We've only played 13 points.
I'm not sure it was Desi that said that.
It was. I saw it on the replay of the webcast last night.
You and I both up at 3:30 in the morning watching those replays.
I want it to be noted that it was in separate rooms and separate hotels.
Why do we share the same room key then? And the same bed? I kid.
Short. Go to green. Second serve.
Luis put so much pressure on you with both serves. We talked about that yesterday, Dave. He doesn't look to put that second serve in play. He looks to hit an ace with that second serve. For those of you watching on our front wall camera, that is Lisa Frazier standing up there in the referee's box. She actually lost her round of 16 match today.
9-6.
If Luis scores here, Tony's going to take a timeout. And we might see it right here. And there it is, Dave. Tony's still traditional like that. 10-6 score here. Luis Moreno now showing Tony what fits he gave fellow countryman Paul Brady in the 2008 U.S. Open. Tony hasn't played Luis Moreno much. I would say only maybe one time. Now he's getting a crash course in what a lot of the top pros have been up against in the last few years. This resurging Luis Moreno from Tucson, Arizona. Tony Healy from Lombardstown, County Cork in Ireland. You're watching the 2009 Waterford Crystal World Handball Championships. Multnomah Athletic Club. This is the first game of the last men's quarterfinal match of the day. It was Paul Brady defeating Charlie Shanks in 2 quick games. Emmett Pashot over Robbie McCarthy, which means that Emmett will now face Paul Brady in that upper bracket semifinal. In the lower bracket, it was a stunning match. Good for the fans. A lot of great play from Alan Garner and Dave Chapman, but it was Alan defeating Dave Chapman 21-17, 21-18. So Alan's in the semifinals to face the winner of this one.
Alan's had a lot of success against Luis Moreno, losing only 1 time in his career to Luis up against 6 wins.
10 serve 6.
Go out on a limb here, Dave, and say that we're going to see an All-American final here at the World Championships. There's some bar patrons in Ireland right now who might be a little bit upset with me.
Which closed out the last 150 remaining people that actually thought you were a good guy.
I want to be consistent.
Seven serves 10. That's a good serve right there.
There's a poor return.
That ball hit Luis.
Tony would have liked to have been able to get his right hand on that ball, but it came out at a strange angle. forcing him to take that with his left.
Second serve.
Wow. Amazing action. Hand-to-hand combat in that front court. Luis tries to push Tony out of that front court with that left-handed pass. It comes just barely off the back wall, and Tony rolls that ball out. 21st shot of the rally, a flat kill there from Tony Healy.
8 serves 10.
Took a big cut at that ball. Big follow through, trying to put a big reverse on that ball straight down the left wall. He caught that left side wall pretty close to the front wall, and that ball came right back at him.
8 serves 10, first game. Tony Healy serving.
Tony looks really good in there right now, Dave. Got Luis really out of his comfort zone in there. That's really the only chance you have against Luis Moreno. If he's in his comfort zone playing the hard and fast game, it's nearly impossible to beat him.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
He struggled with that lob serve throughout this event. It's not completely surprising to see that kind of air.
See what Luis does to capitalize here.
Luis with a nice reverse there. And look at that difference there, Dave. Tony battles back to 9-10. He's serving. He hits the side wall inexplicably with a lob serve and now finds himself trailing 11-9. That's a huge difference there. That's a 2-point swing and potentially more with Luis still serving.
Luis will go for a crack here on the second serve. There he goes for it. Almost gets it.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Tony call a timeout if he loses this point. Needs to regroup. Oh, Luis with a bad miss hit there. You see Luis's timing so good. Generally, that was a surprising error with his right hand up in the front court. Beautiful back wall kill there from Luis. Tony, a lot like Dave Chapman, Dave, that he does not mind that power coming at him in the front court. He handles the power extremely well. Almost like a Roger Federer, he uses that power and generates his own from the power, and also has the control to move the ball anywhere he wants.
12 serves 9.
That's a nice fist return there from Tony.
That's going to make it. There's that timeout call that you thought was going to happen, and did. Can you think that maybe Tony, you know, he's having to fight through 12 months of inactivity and only 1 tournament in the last 12 months. Actually 2, he played in the Irish Nationals in April and lost in the semifinals there, but he was really laboring. So he has been out of the tournament play, and it's kind of tough to get on a world stage and not play handball for quite some time, do you think?
Well, Tony's played Luis very well here in this first game. We've seen 2 really strange errors from Tony. One hitting the sidewall with a lob serve, and then that last shot was a big setup there for Tony with his right hand just about in front of the foot fault line. He put it in the ground. this 13-9 lead could easily be an 11-11 score with Tony serving right now.
It's the 2009 Waterford Crystal.
That can be the difference, Dave, between winning and losing some of these matches.
World Handball Championships.
Just really felt the need to finish that off.
Okay.
Right in the middle of your
All right.
delivery.
We're here at the Multnomah Athletic Club. I'm pausing just in case you have more things you want to say about that. It's Dave Vincent along with Dave Fink. Tony Healy retrieving the serve from Ireland. America's Luis Moreno serving back in.
There's a nice shot there from Tony. You see how he actually moves into that right corner with his shot so that his whole momentum is going into that right corner. That enables him to have enough strength there and using his upper body.
Now you see Tony coming out a little bit here on this.
I'd like to see Tony come out even more on that lob serve, closer to the middle of the court, maybe even 3.
Oh, and Luis gets that ball.
You see a little fist pump there from Luis.
Well, that deserved a fist pump.
I'd like to see Tony come out even 6 or 7 feet from that left side wall on that lob serve. That's a nice 3-wall wrap right there. Luis doesn't do much with it. Tony likes that shot right there, Dave. That left-handed mystery ball. He'll get it. Not quite.
I thought Tony was going to get that too. 14 serves 9.
Looked like it could have been a screen there. That ball went right behind Tony and popped off that left side wall. Luis does not look up at Desi.
9 serves 14, first game. Winner faces Alan Garner tomorrow in the semis, who's sitting courtside watching this, or at least he was a couple minutes ago. I don't see him now. 9 serves 14.
Nice
like
pass there down the left.
Look at that kid from Luis, though.
Luis read that reverse. Tony making these points much more difficult on himself with these terrible lob serves. I actually think he's using the wrong spin on that lob serve. Let's watch how he moves his hand through the ball at the end.
Now he's back in a little closer to that side wall. Tony's trying to locate his spot. He was outside of that second white line. Almost did it again.
You see that spin supposed to make the ball come the other direction. I know, Dave, you've spent some time with Dave Chapman learning the proper spin on that lob serve. You've also watched that instructional DVD that you can purchase at davidchapmanhandball.com. Luis lets that ball go through his legs. Didn't come out nearly as far as he anticipated. Now stepping out even more, which I like here for Tony.
I do too.
And that's the best lob serve we've seen him hit thus far in this match. Not a big fan of that shot right there, letting that ball come around and taking that with your right hand. Tony's so good with his left. You wonder why he puts himself so far out of position. Tries to take that ball.
So Luis comes in and tries to emulate the exact same shot. Said, hey, if that's not going to work, I'll just do it with my serve. This might just be the serve.
Great anticipation from Luis. Luis plays the angle so well. He knows where you have to hit most of your shots, and he's moving there immediately. That's just a knack for the game. Tony with a beautiful re-kill there. Now Tony going to a power serve, effective there.
Wow.
Beautiful pass there. Luis actually giving up on that ball just a little bit. I think he thought that ball was going to die. Popped up off the back wall just about 4 inches. Tony playing a brilliant point there.
12 serves 15.
You see Tony having to stay down, and that ball comes up.
Tony could have got to that ball.
Looks like that ball had enough of a natural on it to stay down the wall. It didn't, though. There's an ace.
This is where you call a timeout right here. You do not want Luis to locate that ace serve like that.
Luis hits that ball so hard with so much spin, he's compressing that ball into his hand on the serve, and when it hits that side wall, it's going to crack out and stay down.
Point 16 is 12.
Looked like Luis was going for that same serve there. Let's see what he does here on the second serve. Luis stays with that. Here's a big setup for Tony. Beautiful shot there.
Tony
Easy
looks
to get sloppy with your footwork on a ball that's moving that slowly. Tony moved in perfectly.
12 serve 16. Tony looks completely different than yesterday. Just a different man.
Contact. No, I told the ball was high enough. I told you would have got it. You play.
Tony actually taking a different angle to get to that ball to make sure he ran into Luis.
Oh, that was a pretty good serve there.
That's a cheeky play.
Serves 12.
Second serve. Point.
Timeout from Tony Healy.
Timeout, Luis. Score 17-12.
Heard the score, 17-12. This is the first game. Men's quarterfinals. The winner will face Alan Garner tomorrow in the semis, and in the upper bracket, it's Emmett Pashot versus Paul Brady, the current 2-time world champion, 5-time national champion.
Luis has actually maintained this 4 to 5 point lead throughout this first game. Every run Tony's made has moved him to within 1 or 2 of Luis, but Luis has been immediately able to stretch the lead back to 4 or 5, which is where we stand right now with Luis serving at 17-12.
You're watching the Waterford Crystal 2009 World Handball Championships from the Multnomah Athletic Club in Portland, Oregon. The World Handball Council, United States Handball Association, streaming live over the internet, courtesy of the WPH. Luis Moreno being watched back home by his friends on the live webcast. Tucson, Arizona. Same can be said for Tony Healy back in Lombardstown, County Cork.
There's a big mistake there from Tony. That ball would have come about 5 feet off the back wall. He chose to try and punch it to the ceiling.
18 serves 12.
Luis with a beautiful kill there. Took that ball on the way up off the left side wall and drove it into the left corner. Tremendous shot.
19 serves 12.
Luis really finding his range there on that serve. He's hitting that short crack just between the service line and the restraining line on the left side wall. Let's see if he goes for it again here. He does. That ball too far up. Tony. Beautiful shot there from Tony. That's the advantage of killing that ball straight down the right side wall. If it comes out just a little bit, it's going to crack out, which it did.
Tony completely changing his serve here.
Nice call there from Desi. Lets the play continue. There was some congestion there. He let Luis have his shot. Luis took care of it. There's another crack right there.
Kind of see the style of Sean Linning just a little bit right there with that underhand patty cake that Luis tried to take. 12 serves 20.
Surprised Tony went back to the ceiling there with Luis out of position. Now it's Tony on the defensive. Wow. We talk so much about Alan Garner's left hand. We just see a clutch kill there from Luis from about 30 feet with his left.
There it is. That closes out the first game, 21-12. I was just going to tell you, Luis is so good back home that nobody wants to play him. But he's found ways to improve his game by running the stairs at the Arizona campus. And he plays 2-on-1, does these strange left-handed 2-on-1 games. That's how he got into condition for this event. Luis Moreno takes the first game, 21-12. We're going to be back in 5 minutes. You're watching the Waterford Crystal 2009 World Handball Championships from the WHC, the USHA, and streaming live on your computer at WePlayHandball.com from the World Players of Handball. For Dave Fink, Jeff Castor, Gene Cosimoto, as well as Omar Lemus. My name is Dave Vincent. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick with us. We are back. You saw that first serve from Tony Healy and a short call here at the World Handball Championships of 2009. Multnomah Athletic Club. Both players wearing red shirts now. A little difficult to pick them up.
That's a nice serve there from Tony. Almost a backdoor Z. He doesn't stay with it. He goes to that power serve with a reverse behind him. Comes up short.
Second serve.
I like this serve a lot. You see Luis uncomfortable there. Able to flip that ball barely 3-wall, but Tony Healy's playing his game here early in this second game. I know it's early, Dave, but he's dictating play here in these first 2 rallies.
Two serve 0.
Tony appeals that ball looked well short.
Second serve.
That's another point there. You can see a lot of players take a timeout here after losing 3 straight points. Luis generally won't take timeouts. I like that.
3 serve 0.
That's a nice left there from Luis. Beautiful pass. You know, it's so tempting to shoot that ball with your left hand when it comes down about 25 feet with that strange spin on it when it hits the front wall and then the ceiling. Very easy to put that ball into the ground because of the spin on that ball. Luis, knowing that, blasted that ball, deep V pass, got the setup, and took care of the next one. I was looking for a, that's a good point, but not so much.
0 serves 3.
That's deflating as a receiver right there. You think you've got a play on the ball, and it just rolls out right in front of you. There it is again. Doesn't catch the side wall, though. That's a nice shot.
Can't wait to talk to Tony Healy after this game, whether he wins or loses, and say, tell me your feelings on Luis Moreno. Because he'll tell you. I don't think he's ever faced Luis before. Only watched him.
Luis now on a nice little run. Didn't hit a perfect kill shot there, but hit it well enough to get the point. Luis actually hit it.
Here comes the timeout from Tony Healy, I have a feeling. He's going to have to call one. 4 straight unanswered points.
Luis been hitting a natural here.
Luis did that with a fist? I've seen him do that open-handed, too.
Nearly made that ball. Thought he was going to let that come off the back wall. That ball fooled Luis a little bit, but he was able to kill it anyway.
Luis is so fast out of the gate there. Great anticipation. 5 serves 3.
Get it. Beautiful get. Interesting shot there from Tony. Against most players, that's a good play, forcing your opponent to move across the court to the right and take that right-handed kill shot attempt. Luis usually makes that shot.
3 serves 5. That's a foot fault, not a call.
We saw Tony miss that shot at 12-9 in the first game. Cannot afford to miss those opportunities.
If Luis goes on to win this, he would assure at least a 75% All-American final.
Actually, it would be a 75% All-American semifinal. Beautiful pass there from Luis.
5 is trade.
That ball just dies there.
Luis is just finding every little crack, every little opportunity. Tony thinks about this game in retrospect. He's going to just have to say, Luis was incredible today.
Nice 2-all pass there from Luis. Another, what seems like almost a lucky break there for Luis. He hit that ball just landing 4 feet from the back wall, yet somehow it just hits the side wall and died.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Dave Chapman's actually looking to play doubles, trying to get back into the doubles event. And he's honing in on these guys. Tony's not playing in doubles, correct? And Luis isn't in the doubles, and I believe Dave Chapman's waiting to see who is going to lose this event and then ask them to play doubles with him. As Dave Chapman now wants to get into the doubles.
Dave Chapman coming here to play only one division, and he'll play 3 before he's all said and done.
That's a good point.
Dave Chapman telling me before the event he's playing only singles, just focusing on trying to win this world title. He was talked into playing in the one-wall doubles. He spent about 4 hours on court over 2 days playing 2 tiebreakers, winning the first and losing in the finals of the second. Could be said that that took a lot out of Dave. Dave didn't look as fresh. We talked to some of the pro players in the crowd. Dave saying Dave looked a little bit slower today than they're used to seeing him.
The score will be 7-3 when Luis serves here.
7 is trade.
There's a serve from Luis.
That's a tough shot there. Luis skips that ball. Tony fortunate there. Surprised Tony taking that ball out of the air. That ball coming down at a sharp angle from that right side wall. That's a nice kill there from Luis.
Tony's slow getting up there.
Win or lose this match, Dave, it's really nice to see Tony Healy back in action. He looks very healthy today. Tony's obviously one of the great players in this game, Dave. Certainly won him at all the big events, at his best.
That's Luis mad at himself there.
3.
3, serve 7. Amazing. You're right, we were talking about Alan Garner's offhand earlier, but Luis has not let anybody down with his either. 7 serves 3.
Luis plays a right-hand dominant game, which means he takes as many balls with his right hand as he can. Alan will take balls on the left side of the court with his left hand every time. He doesn't generally move around his right hand or left hand.
Double bounce, nope. 7 serves 3.
That was a good get. Like it could have been short. Nice pass there. There's a big setup. Thought he put that ball in the right corner.
That's going to make it.
Smart shot there from Luis. You see how he just holds that finish to make sure that ball stays down that right line. Even with that hinder, Luis still able to get over to that ball.
Amazing shot from Luis Moreno. 9-3 now. Starting to walk away.
9-3.
Now Luis puts a reverse on that serve.
Talking to Desi yesterday, Dave, after playing Luis Moreno, he said, you know, you can just never get set up for any shot. Every shot is spinning into you or spinning away from you with so much power. You're never able to really unload on any ball comfortably because that ball's always jumping in and out. I think Tony Healy experiencing some of that. You'll watch Luis Moreno hit every shot he hits with both hands has some sort of hook on it. He's always spinning every shot both ways with both hands during the rally as well.
Score here is 10-3. Luis Moreno serving. And Tony Healy timeout making the show court at the Multnomah Athletic Club for the 2009 World Handball Championships. Brought to you by Waterford Crystal, as well as Columbia Sportswear, the World Handball Council, the USHA. Streaming live over your computer, courtesy of the WPH private funds that have been gathered from that organization. A lot of handball being played here. I don't know how many courts they have at the MAC, but I believe it's close to 18, 20-ish, something like that. There's 3 courts right here in this area that we're at. And I believe
actually 4.
There's 4 here. And another about 14 or so, or 15, 16 down the hallway, right? Are there that many?
I think only 10 courts here. And they're using another facility for some of the matches as well.
Which they said, I know for a fact, they said that one had 8 courts, so
we also have 3 one-wall courts here at the MAC.
So we have about 25 courts total. 10 serves 3, second game.
Not a good shot there from Luis. He knows it too. He had that whole right side. He really could have done anything with that shot. He tried to, the high degree of difficulty left corner kill off the back wall.
Luis thought about it.
Tony with a nice touch there.
3 serves 10. That was a quick call from Desi.
There's a lot of national championships up in that referee's box right now. Both Lisa Frazier and Tracy Davis losing today.
Tracy Davis lost as well on the women's 4-wall.
Actually lost to Maria Daly today.
Forgot how deep the women's brackets are this year. I keep thinking anytime someone like Lisa Frazier Gilmore loses in a round of 16.
You were actually in denial over that for quite some time.
I still don't believe it. And Desi Keegan also has some national championships in Ireland. 1-wall. Doubles titles.
That's nice how Tony's able to follow that ball around.
Luis is trying to show Tony that if you want to play fish shot game, I'm going to show you what I've got. Power does not seem to disturb Luis Moreno much. 11 serves 3.
Nice return there from Tony. Very frustrating there for Tony. Hit such a perfect return. Paints that left side wall into that back corner. Luis lets that ball come off the back wall just about a foot and rolls it out flat with his left hand right in front of Tony. Great handballs from both guys there. Shot there from Luis. Here's the setup.
That's going to make it. Oh, and it barely missed.
I think Tony hit that ball with his wrist. Put his hand up so he made contact. Well,
some of us play that way. I mean.
Oh, I forgot who was standing next to me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
13 serves 3.
That's a nice get there. Beautiful get there from Tony Healy. Luis nearly picking up that re-kill. It's a double bounce. Tony just not making that adjustment there. That just looked like a little bit of lack of court time there from Tony Healy. And you can't blame him. He's been injured for the better part of a year. Handling himself extremely well, though, on this stage. Playing against the very hungry, fierce Luis Moreno.
Don't forget, just a couple weeks ago, Tony Healy lost in the finals against Owen Kennedy, scoring just 3 points in the second game of the finals.
Just 2 weeks ago, Luis Moreno winning the WPH Pro Stop in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, defeating Dave Chapman and then Emmett Bichotte in the final. Tony trying a different serve here. I like that serve. I don't like that call there, Dave, and I'll tell you because Luis gets his hand on that ball, misses it by an inch. If he rolls that ball out, there's not going to be a call. That's almost like the N1 call in basketball, but I don't like that call here in this game.
3 serves 14. I agree with you on that.
Luis, if Luis wants that hinder there, he's got to stop. He takes that shot and misses it. It's almost like a free roll type of situation.
Wow.
Luis Moreno just so quick with that first step and explosion.
3 serves 14. Look at that power from back there. It's amazing. 14 serves 3.
Not sure what the call is here.
Called a hinder.
The screen?
A hinder on the back wall, the
okay.
crease on the back wall.
There's an ace.
Point. 15 is trade.
Wow. That's that shot that you said. If he makes it, he looks so natural doing it, but if he misses it, you wonder why he took the shot.
That actually wasn't the shot that I said. That was the fist fly kill up over his shoulder down the right. That was a open hand kill into the left corner. So
sorry, I'm assuming that it pertained to that shot too.
Not so much.
Okay. Well, 16-3, its second game. It was Luis Moreno defeating Tony Healy in the first game, 21-12. Earlier today, Paul Brady over Charlie Shanks, 9-5. McCarthy losing to Emmett Peixote, 10-10. Garner over Dave Chapman, 17-18. And now we see a huge lead here in the second game after Luis won the first one, 21-12 versus Tony Healy. 16-3 is the score here during this timeout.
You see Luis Moreno pacing around the court. Looks like a lion in there.
Too many distractions when you step outside.
There's also not a lot of room for the players out there. The fans crammed in so tight, almost can't get to your bag. We saw Luis Moreno in between games bring his handball bag into the court.
Is on form in this game. 17-3 score, second game. Men's quarterfinals. Chance to play Alan Garner tomorrow in the semis.
Since Tony cut the deficit to 11-13 in that first game, it's been all Luis Moreno.
Tony already knew what was going to happen there.
Luis actually outscoring Tony 25-5 here in the last 30 points scored. Almost feel like you're being steamrolled when you're in there with Luis Moreno.
I know what it's like to score 3 points off Luis Moreno. I can feel
play to
Tony's
1,000.
I'm talking lifetime. Accumulative. It's over about 5 years of play. I found a way for him never to score a point again. Referee called it. He called it right before it hit Tony.
It's true.
I found a way that Luis will never score a point off of me again. Just don't play him.
Thought I'd let you finish it. You set it up so beautifully.
I was going to let you have it, but I decided that's mine. I put a big Band-Aid on that wound. No more blood.
Well, you've been running on empty, so let you have that one. There's a little showtime for the crowd. Doesn't make it.
17 serve 3.
We see all the New York one-wall players down here watching this action. They have a lot of respect for Luis Moreno, not only for his tremendous four-wall game, but also his support of the one-wall game, Dave. He travels to the one-wall nationals. He's played one-wall throughout his handball career. Played one-wall in this event as well. That respect is reciprocated.
Well, Tony scored the first point in the last 35 minutes.
Here's the setup. Nice shot there from Tony. Looked like that ball was going to pop out off the sidewall. It caught the crack. Tony stayed with it. Nice kill.
Five serve 17, second game.
Perfectly struck ceiling shot there from Luis.
I just get this feeling that Luis Moreno can do anything he wants.
That hasn't been the case against his potential opponent tomorrow. Should he score these remaining 4 points, he's had very little success against the Bombshell. We did see Luis beat the Bombshell in the Alaska WPH Championship last March. That's been his only victory, though, against Allen. Should be a tremendous matchup tomorrow.
18 serves 5. Five to 18.
Tony applying some pressure now.
Six to 18 is the score here. Watching the Waterford Crystal World Handball Championships. Tony Healy on a small run here, 3 straight points.
Tony's been unable to engage in these ceiling rallies as often as he'd like here in this second game.
Seven plays 18.
Looked like a bad bounce.
It
Tony
was.
Pointed. He'll now appeal that.
Anybody that's watching this match would know that that was a bad bounce.
Well, I don't think the Lions people are watching this match, though, unfortunately. Heard the ball hit that light.
Oh, we saw it go down. It was a.
He's back there. He's seen a bad bounce.
How could Luis even debate that? That ball's supposed to carry to the back wall, and it was a setup. Plus, Tony Healy doesn't lie.
Tony putting together a nice run here. It's 5 consecutive points, make that 6. Nice shot there from Tony. He knows that the worst thing that can happen when he punches that ball behind him is that it's going to be a hinder. Luis not as sharp here. He's taking a timeout. Looked like he thought he could just cruise through these remaining 3 points. Hasn't been the case.
6 unanswered points right now for Tony Healy. Paul Brady won the earlier top part of the upper bracket of the quarterfinals, 9-5 over Charlie Shanks. Robbie McCarthy losing to Emma Pichotte, 10-10. That means Mr. Pichotte plays the gunner from Ireland in the semifinals, the top bracket. In the bottom, though, it was Alan Garner defeating David Chapman, 21-17, 21-18. And the winner, Garner, will now face the winner of this one. Looks like it's going to be Luis Moreno, but all of a sudden, 6 unanswered points from Tony Healy. As we look down and we see all the handball celebrities in the house, Tyree Bastidas.
Number of one-wall superstars down there. Actually, the RFC has just announced that they'll be holding a one-wall small ball singles pro stop next spring of 2010. All the New Yorkers have committed to it. That'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
So the RFC is going away from 4-wall and over to 1-wall now?
Actually, the RFC handles both.
Okay.
That is the Rodney Fink Championship Series, co-sponsored by the WPH, the World of Pro Handball.
Nine serves 18, second game. Tony mounting a comeback here. Luis 3 points away from being in the semis. Wow. Luis told Tony really quickly, "I'm sorry." Tony reached out, patted his hand there. 9 serves 18.
Oh, that ball does make it.
That was kind of like a no-look rollout right there from Luis. 18 serves 9. Wow, did Luis get that?
It was close. I would like to see the linesmen on this glass side make those 2-bounce calls. I think it's very difficult for players to judge those 2-bounce calls. And 90% of the time, we see players call 2 bounces when it's actually not 2 bounces.
Right, that's true.
I'd prefer to see the linesmen, because a lot of times when you do pick up the questionable double bounce, you're diving. A lot of times you can't even see the ball hit your hand because you're flying in an awkward position.
Right.
Expecting to make some sort of call. Obviously, nearly every handball player is so honest. If there's any question, they're going to call 2 bounces. But we've seen, Dave, from our angle, at least 15 instances of players calling double bounces when they actually picked up the ball on the first bounce.
I agree. 9 serves 18. Second game.
The players are not calling their own shorts. I don't think they should call their own double bounces either, particularly when we have a glass side wall with a lines person standing or sitting right on top of the action.
Wow. See that shot right there from Luis? 18 serves 9.
There's a nice wrap shot there from Luis.
Yeesh.
Tony going more for that ground and pound style right now. Has not found his submission move though yet.
Well, he tried to pass guard right on the shot.
That might be an MMA term that I'm not familiar with. That ball actually skipped in. It looked good to us, but
I know, you're right. The reverse happens for where we're standing. Score is now 19-9, 2 points away. Luis Moreno.
Luis trying to score 2 before Tony Healy scores 12 to secure a spot here in the semifinals. The winner of this to play the bombshell.
19-9.
He's blonde, he's powerful, and he's good. That's, of course, Alan Garner. There's a tremendous kill there. Off his back foot, up around his chest.
20 serves 9. This is game and match. Luis had some junk on that ball, too.
Sorry, second serve. In the ball. Gonna show it up here.
Well, Desi's having a good time in the referee spot. Now Luis gets to go for another one of those cracked serves.
Hit a nice wrinkle on that ball. I don't think with Luis we can call it a wrinkle, though. It's a huge breaker.
And there
That's
it is.
it.
Well, that closes that one out. Luis Moreno now defeating Tony Healy by the score of 21-12, 21-9. Assuring Luis Moreno's spot into the semifinals to face the blonde bombshell, Alan Garner, tomorrow. 21-17, 21-8. Alan won over Dave Chapman. In the upper bracket, it was Paul Brady defeating Charlie Shanks, 9-5. McCarthy losing to Emmett Peixote, 10-10. That makes a Paul Brady versus Emmett Peixote semifinal in the top bracket. We'll be back tomorrow with more live webcast action. You make sure to stay close. Stay right here. In fact, we'll loop all of today's games for you so you can watch the replay of Paul Brady's game against Charlie Shanks, McCarthy and Peixote, Garner and Chapman, and this last one we just watched, Moreno and Healy. Dave, thanks for stopping by the webcast booth. Want to thank Gene Kazumoto, Omar Lemus, Jeff Kastner, and all of those that put on the 2009 World Handball Championships from the Multnomah Athletic Club. We thank you for your help. My name is Dave Vincent. We'll talk to you tomorrow.